Okay, these are the video notes for the names of the different types of reactions. This is super easy. You're going to need your note sheet, something to write with, access to these 3 different emoji sheets, scissors, and some tape. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to write in the names of the different types of reactions, and then we'll add some emojis to illustrate what those names mean. All right, so number 1, the first and the most common type of reaction is a synthesis reaction. It means you have 2 things become one thing. Super easy. Okay, so, and I guarantee you that most of you that are doing this video are not going to have the same emojis as me, because other people are going to use the exact same, but that's okay. Any 2 things that you pick that make it 2 going into 1 is okay. So for instance, what I'm going to pick is I'm going to pick a happy face, and I'm gonna pick a heart. These are my reactants, so happy face and a heart. Again, if you don't have these ones, pick something different. It's totally fine. All right, get this. So I'm gonna start with a happy face and a heart, okay? And now if I combine those 2 together in a chemical reaction, I'm going to get a happy face with hearts in its eyes. I took 2 things and I squished them together, and now I've made them one thing. Okay, so A plus B makes AB. And I'm just gonna tape that. You don't have to be all fancy. There we go. Okay. So then number 2, the second kind of reaction that we have here is also a very common kind of reaction. It's a decomposition, S-I-T-I-O-N reaction, where you have one thing becomes 2 things. We talked a lot about this in biology when we were talking about enzymes, how you would have one thing, an enzyme would come and make the chemical reaction happen, and then you would end up with 2 different things, okay? So it's essentially the exact opposite of your synthesis reaction. So if I took all right, so here I'm going to take the kitty with the heart eyes, okay? So this is my 2 things that are combined, and then they're going to decompose into 2 separate things, which is going to be a regular cat and then another heart. Oops. Okay, so we have a heart and a regular cat. So we had 2 things together, and now those things are separate. That is called a decomposition reaction. Make sure that when you tape them on, you can still see the A and the B underneath. Okay? All right. All right. So our next reaction is going to be called a single replacement reaction. And this is just where one thing trades places. It's really easy. So for mine, I have picked a couple. It's a boy and a girl, and they like each other. And then they go to a restaurant one day and they meet a girl. And then the girls decide that they really like each other better and they fall in love. And then so the boy is sad or confused, or I don't know what that means. Okay, so we had a boy and a girl, and then a girl. So we replaced the boy with the girl, and then now the boy is by himself. That is a single replacement reaction. So anytime you break up with someone and then either you start dating someone new and they haven't, single replacement. Because now they're single and you got a replacement. Sorry. All right, so the next one is going to be a double replacement, which is very similar to the single replacement, except that now you have two things that trade places. So this would be if you and your boyfriend broke up, or you and your girlfriend broke up, and then you both started dating new people. That's a double replacement. Okay. This is going to be very crowded. I'm sorry. We'll just figure it out as we go. All right. So I picked the poop emoji and this ghost to represent like a ghost poop, which is when you think you have to poop, but then you really don't. Okay. And then I picked a laughing so hard that you're crying face, and then a being so sad that you're crying face. Okay, these are our couples. There's the ghost poop, and then there's the couples that are sad for different reasons, or crying for different reasons rather. Okay, so then in this replacement, what would happen is one of the first ones would stay the same. So we're still gonna have our poop emoji. But instead of being with the ghost, now the poop emoji is going to go with the person who is laughing so hard they're crying because they think poop is hilarious. And then the ghost is going to go with the person who is sad and crying because now they're scared and crying because they're scared. Okay, so this is our double replacement reaction. We have these two and these two. And then this one trades with this one, and this one trades with this one. Just trading two things. Next time I'll print them out smaller. I'm so sorry. Okay, here we go. Double replacement. Now the last one, or the second to last one, is one of the fun ones. It's called a combustion reaction, which is explodey, explodes. So you have something here, and then they combine together, and then you get a explosion. Fire. And then the last one is called a redox reaction. A redox reaction is where the elements exchange electrons, or electrons disappear or are added. This is in the case of like rust. Oxygen will steal electrons away from stuff, and that's what makes iron become oxidized and rust, is because oxygen is stealing its electrons. Another common one is our sodium and chloride. When those come together, the electron from sodium goes over to chlorine, right? and that is a redox reaction because now sodium has reduced the number of electrons it has and chlorine has increased. Okay, at the bottom here, these are just two special types of double replacement reactions. A precipitation reaction is when it's a reaction that causes a precipitate to form. Which means at the end you have an aqueous solution plus a solid. And then a neutralization reaction is when you do an acid plus a base and they neutralize each other out, and then usually it creates water and something else, depending on what it is. So these are your types of reactions. Mostly we're going to be dealing with these, and then when we do acids and bases, it'll be this. But the main thing, especially you need to know 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are the ones you need to remember using your helpful emoji system, except for number 4 that got a little squished. This is going to go in your notebook on whatever page that I say so on the website. Thanks.